nice plush toy someone left here. I wonder how soft it is.
Wait, Zach! Don't touch that.
Why not?
If you touch that, you'll be taken to the planet of the cheetahs.
Planet of the Cheetah? What are you even talking about? Do you even hear yourself?
Zach, trust me. Step away from the cheetah.
It's a plush toy.
It's not a plush toy. It'll take you to a planet where you'll be hunted and killed. Zach, trust me.
No, what? Why are you always telling me what to do? Huh? What have I done? What have I done?
Well, you're not listening to me for one. Step away from the cheetah.
No, I'm not stepping away from the cheetah. It's not a cheetah, it's a plush toy. There's a difference.
Zach, step over here right now.
No, you always tell me what to do. I'm sick of it.
I'm telling you what to do. Step away from the cheetah.
If we fight like animals, we die like animals. If we fight like animals, we die like animals.
Idiot.
How did I get here? What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Review in Space with Fight. I've been wanting to review this episode for so long.
Yeah,
I love Survival.
It's my first classic episode actually to review.
Have you never? Oh, first to review.
Yeah, I've seen An Unearthly Child. I've seen Genesis of the Daleks, and I've seen The 10th Planet. Haven't seen any of McCoy.
Those are some good episodes. Yeah.
But this is the first time we're doing a review for a classic episode. So.
I love Survival, so I'm so happy that we're finally doing it. What did you think of Sylvester Mccoy, since this is the first time you've seen a full episode of his?
McCoy, I have to say, I underappreciated him. He is a sound doctor.
He's my favourite, so obviously
he's
I'm
got that kind of
to him.
cavalier attitude, but at the same time, he's just a case of, go away, I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah, no, shoo, go away. Yeah, I do agree.
There's something else I'm forgetting. Aren't you forgetting something? What? Money.
No, that's not it. Yeah, I love Sylvester McCoy. So he's the best Doctor for me. He's everything that I love. Yeah, what do you think of the episode overall? It's a 3-parter, so like an hour and 15 minutes overall-ish, give or take.
Give it, yeah. So I was actually quite a fan of the episode. Didn't know how it was going to go from the beginning because it was mainly just a cat taking away people. That cat puppet. I mean, at first it was a bit comical.
It's all right. Yeah. It's all right for its time. It's okay. So, yeah.
Then there was that kind of, with the first time you seeing the guy in the dark with the glowy eyes. And
yep.
I asked
you guessed right off the bat if it was the Master. I'm like, yeah, it's the Master. You guessed it. I fucking love this episode. I just love, this is one of the only, well, there are probably others in the classic series, but this is the best one that's set on Earth, in my opinion. Because in the 80s with Doctor Who, they hardly ever do episodes on Earth. They did a few with... They did a good handful with like Patrick Troughton and John Pertwee, but beyond that they've been exploring outer space, especially in the McCoy era. So to see an episode so grounded on Earth and see the first half hour of it just set on Earth with the Doctor just trying to figure out a mystery of like kids going missing. I really love that. It's like, I think this is like the blueprint that Russell T Davies took into making New Who in like the sort of formula, like have it set on on Earth with Rose or whatever, but also have a lot of wacky sci-fi shit like the Slitheen or whatever. I feel like this is like a loose blueprint as to what Russell T Davies would initially bounce off of, I think. And as well as that, the companions are given character arcs with Ace, at least. Yeah. Ace was done really well.
The transition of Ace, so Ace, I was already kind of assuming Ace was this pretty classy companion, and I've been told before that Ace is one of those top 10, as it were.
Yeah. I think if any classic fan would probably say Ace is a top 10 companion. I think she's really good.
But because of the way that she dresses, because she has all those badges on her jacket and the baseball bat, I assume she'd be a bit younger and a bit more kind of rough around the edges kind of person. But then, watching her in this one, she's very friend oriented. She's quite in tune with her society, all that kind of stuff. So it was a welcome kind of experience for the first time watching Ace.
Yeah, because like most companions before Ace were just like very old fashioned, very middle class women, but obviously, like I said, she's a young'un. She's meant to be portrayed as like a 19-year-old or something, I think. So like very young, like still in her youth, and a lot more sprite, as it were, as the Doctor would put it. And yeah, I really, really love their dynamic as well. I always have, because it's obviously it's like an uncle sort of dynamic where the Doctor's always going ace, like always getting on his nerves, isn't she? So
yeah.
Stay still!
Will you fucking stay still? I love that blooper so much. When we watched that bit, I just couldn't get that bit out of my head. I had to show you. You idiots! I told you not to move! You moved! You moved! Just completely strips and just chucks himself on the ground. I love that blooper so much.
Louise! Stay still! Will you stay still? You idiots! I don't know how many times I gotta tell you not to move! You moved! You moved!
I love Sylvester McCoy. He's such a gem. But yeah.
It's a shame, though, that because obviously I'm guessing it's because of the 80s, because when you get into the hunting world and then the cheetahs start attacking the people, because of the way that everyone kind of does their acting back then, you can't really tell the difference between knocked out and actually dying. Yes,
it is a bit weird. Like the cheetah collapsing into the water, you were very confused over, did that cheetah die?
Yeah.
Or are they just faking it? Or are they sleeping or drinking?
Minch at the end, he does the...
On the sofa, like, that is so strange. Yeah, I didn't really get that bit, to be honest. It's kind of funny. Every time we saw his face and him groaning, we just laughed.
Yeah.
So, it is a bit hammy, the acting. But that's of the era, I guess. But the effects for the time are actually okay. Obviously, the green screen of the sky is very choppy. The red sky, obviously.
The cheetah costumes, I think they did a good job making those.
You know what's funny? And I've seen stuff about this with like Flux and everything. You know, Carvanista, that character. It's funny how people still say that costume's so shit that it looks just as good as the cheetah people in this story, and it's kind of true, isn't it? The costume looks just as good, which shows how good this episode is.
Ahead of its time.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm not sure whether it's explicit, whether Carvanista's race in Flux is like related to the cheetah people. No, never really clarified. Maybe it is, and we just missed it in Flux. But there's a lot of stuff going on in Flux that we don't understand. So,
things we just don't care to understand.
Yes, it's okay. Flux can't hurt. Chris Chibnall can't hurt you anymore. It's okay, Adam. Timeless Child can't hurt you anymore. I said the infamous word. Oh God! And like I say, I love Survival. How do you think Survival works as an end to Classic Who? Because remember, it did get canned. It wasn't like, let's wrap it up with a nice final story. It was like, right, you're getting cancelled this year. You've got to make your final episodes.
In terms of a kind of a way to end it without knowing you've ended it, it was a nice kind of little wrap up with the Master being stranded on a planet of his own destruction.
Yeah.
The cheetah people getting wrapped up. Well, they didn't actually wrap up the whole, the rest of the town getting corrupted by the Master. Do they get uncorrupted? Do they go back to normal?
I guess they just do. I guess it's part and parcel with the planet and the cheetah people disappearing. I guess the trance disappears with it. I guess
possibly.
That's the best headcanon I can come up with.
But that nice little walk off into the the trees with that
was probably dubbed afterwards because most of this series was filmed before the knowledge that they were going to get cancelled. So this episode in particular was going to be episode 2. There are 4 serials in season 26, which is what this is. It would have been Battlefield, then Survival, which is this one, then Ghostlight, and then Curse of Fenric, I think. But they swapped it so that this went at the end, and the others just stayed the same, which I think works fairly well. I think that. I feel like this is the most fitting ending out of those 4 stories that could have stuck at the end. I think Curse of Fenric is... I personally prefer Curse of Fenric to Survival, but they are very, very close together in terms of quality of episodes. I think Curse of Fenric isn't a solid conclusion to Classic Who, though, whereas at this, at least you get like a nice final battle between the Master and the Doctor to kind of wrap up, like, a big finale, ooh! And then the bit at the end where they walk off and... all that. I feel like it's a better ending to Classic Who than Curse of Fenric would have been. But Curse of Fenric, it might be the superior story, but it's up to the debate, I think, still. But This story is just good because it's rapidly different from everything else in McCoy's era, I think. Like I say, it's not many of the episodes are really set on Earth in, like, current day. Like, you had Remembrance of the Daleks, which is set back in the 60s, which obviously is, like, airing in the 80s. And I think that's it, actually. I don't think there's any other episodes set in current day Earth in McCoy's era, if I can think. No. Well, I suppose maybe Ghostlight, but that's not in current day, I don't think. That's like a bit in the past. Also, as well as that, with McCoy's era and this episode as well, I'm just nerding out about my favourite, is that, like, in this last season, and most of Ace's run on the show, they really do delve into character development with the companion, which they don't do in Classic Who, really. This is the first time they do it properly. And Ghostlight is that episode where they go back to the house which she lived in, I think, in Perivale back in the past, and facing her demons. So having this afterwards still kind of makes sense, because it's like, okay, we've dealt with that. And obviously she has trust issues with the Doctor at that stage. And then Curse of Fenric even more so, when the Doctor seems to have betrayed her for a certain deal. I won't spoil it in case you ever watch it. Which is a really cool twist. And then this one at the end where the tensions are still a bit high. The Doctor's just not really paying attention to her. She wants to see her friends. He wants to catch some cats. And then obviously they make up with each other. And she's sad that she thinks thinks he died. And then goes, mine, I believe. And then puts the hat on, and then they walk off together into the sunset, as it were. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think that, like, I love it. I think it's a really, really good episode. What do you think? Actually, what do you think of Anthony Ainley's Master? Because he's in that.
I like his Master. I like the suave and the sophistication, kind of mixed in with that hint of animal attitude, that instinctive that attitude to just go after the Doctor.
Yeah, the animal instinct is exclusive to this episode, though. Before that, he's way more cold and calculated, way more reserved. But in this, he's like much more vicious and more just like more ready to just fucking attack someone.
Chaotic, a
bit more chaotic is the right word for it. What do you think about the cliffhangers? I think because usually Doctor Who, Classic Who, usually deliver some good cliffhangers in a serial, but I think this one, I like the one where the reveal of the Master in the tent, but you saw it coming, so I guess the twist doesn't really work there for you. But then
the twist reveal of Ace getting glowing eyes in the second part. It's not that one wasn't expected, but it's kind of like the door to say, oh goodness, how's he going to help her now?
Yeah.
Is she too late?
That one's an okay cliffhanger. It kind of just leads into the finale and be like, oh, how are they going to get out of this one type of thing. That's the main reason why I like cliffhangers, is because it's like, we know they're probably going to make it out, but it's like, it's the questioning of like, how are they going to do it?
Yeah.
That's why I enjoyed some of the cliffhangers in Flux, like the one at the end of War of the Sontarans where they click, it's like, well, we know that Yaz isn't going to die, but how are they going to get out of it? And same with, obviously, the Doctor turning into an angel. I like that cliffhanger as well. It's like, the Doctor's not going to die here, but it's like, how does she become unangeled? That's just the difference, is that, like, the payoff for some of those cliffhangers aren't that good. But anyway, thanks, Chibbers. Anyway, this isn't about that. So how do you feel this episode, like, is? Like, since you haven't watched that much Classic Who, how do you feel it, like, compares to, like Genesis of the Daleks, or...
I think out of all the episodes I've seen, Genesis is probably my favourite Classic episode so far.
That's fair.
In terms of comparative to that, I felt as though because McCoy is very much a case of not taking it all too seriously whilst taking it seriously. It's that nice little blend, that kind of jazzy thing that you can sit through. You get a little excited, you get a little scared, so that one's pretty easy to sit through.
Okay.
And I liked it. I liked the way that it worked.
I feel like, as well as that, this is of the time where Doctor Who, because Doctor Who likes to beforehand have always liked to stick episode stories into like a 4-parter or a 6-parter. Whereas I feel like with this episode, I'd appreciate the fact that, like, ordinarily, if it was like the 70s Doctor Who, they'd write a story like this, and then they'd be like, oh, okay, so we'll stretch it over 4 episodes, right? It's like, you don't need 4 episodes to tell the story properly. The story is told in the perfect amount of time here. It's like, okay, we only really need 3 half-hour slots, 3 25-minute slots to tell this story properly. And I really appreciate that they're not wasting our time with a filler episode in the middle, or to stretch out the story and fluff it too much. Because I feel like some Classic Who is guilty of doing that a bit in the 60s and 70s. But with like episodes like this, they go, okay, we here's the story, here's what Ace does. Okay, so cool. 3 episodes will do it. That's all we need. I can appreciate that, to be honest with you. Yeah, well, what else you got to say about it? What else do you think? Just off the cuff of after finishing watching it.
I just really enjoyed it. It was a good episode to start a classic with, or at least to start this kind of stuff with.
Yeah. What do you think of the special effects and McCoy and all that?
I think it was a wise choice to use prosthetic costumes and to not weigh in heavily on CGI scenery except for the sky shots, because they must have gone on location for the desert scenes.
Yes, they must have.
So yeah, it's good. It's a good choice that they didn't weigh in heavily on too much CGI or effects kind of things, except for that one last little fight battle. Yeah,
but I think that's kind of cool though, because it's it's oversaturated all red, and I feel like it kind of fits the whole vibe of the weird looking sky that doesn't look perfect, but it's still it's serviceable, and having all the weird fire everywhere, it's it kind of looks as good as the sky does, so I feel like it's in keeping at least, so I can appreciate that. I don't know, man. I just really enjoy the story. I feel like, if anything, the criticisms, I need to try and think about this objectively. I think that Ace's friends were a tiny bit underdeveloped here and there. Can't really tell you any of their names. The
Mitch
sergeant was a bit one-dimensional as
Patterson
well.
was funny in the first episode, and then he kind of gets watered down with each episode.
Yeah, I like the idea of it, because the lore behind it is that if you turn into a cat person, you can use their powers. So it's do we use Ace to escape with her, or do we stay here to die, and don't sacrifice her as a cat person? But that ends up not happening in the end somehow, which is a bit weird, I guess. But like I say, some of the side characters were a tiny bit poor in writing. They could have been written a bit better here and there. They were just
like the guy that suddenly comes out of nowhere. He's hanging out.
The milkman.
No, not the milkman. The it's the girl and Mitch, and then it's the third man. He's all right. He survived here 3 weeks, but he shows nothing of he survived for 3 weeks, and then he's with them for the rest of it, and they're all suspicious of him at one point or another. Yeah, then by the third episode,
has barely any speaking lines.
Yeah, and then at the end, they all get saved, and he just goes, "Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Ace. Thank you for saving my life."
Pisses off.
Pisses off.
Yeah, and I don't think we even see him at the end when they're back in the field with Master mind controlling people. That is so funny. After all that, he survives. He's the one that's meant to survive the longest. But and I do love the open. It's very, very typical of Doctor Who in the classic series to have a character seeing something that the people can't see it, and they're going, and they're just stumbling, and then they trip over air. I enjoy that. I enjoy that just because it's classic Who, and it's part of the culture of it.
But it's so bad.
I know.
That
happened twice as well. It was the first time with the person washing his car, and then the second time
it's the runner.
The runner.
Kind of goes.
And then he just trips over nothing and just rolls over and dies.
Wow, jelly legs.
Yeah, I don't know.
No,
great demonstration there, Adam. I think it's good though. I like the idea of it. I think the lore holds up as well. It's not like a flimsy story that doesn't really make much sense. They have thought out how this planet works and how the creatures work, and obviously how the Master fits into that as well. And I like that Ace has stuff to do, because, like I say, companions usually don't get given anything besides ask the Doctor the dumb questions. Yeah, really. And like I said, the fight at the end is really cool. If we fight like animals, we die like animals. There's a final battle between the Doctor and the Master. I think it's as good of an ending to Classic Who as we would probably have gotten. At short notice as well. So obviously, ideally, they'd be a big war between the Daleks and the Time. Oh wait, they did that afterwards. Anyway, where do you think the show would have gone if it didn't get cancelled?
I feel as though Ace probably would have wanted to do something more in terms of adventure or starting her own kind of things in her way.
Oh, like a spin-off.
Yeah. Or maybe cool. slight spin-off, but
cool.
Kind of how Jo Grant, for example, after she spends her time waiting for the Doctor, then she goes around the world doing good kind of things.
That's fair.
I feel like Ace would do a similar thing, but have her way more action-packed.
Oh god, yeah, like an action hero type. Yeah. She's definitely that sort of person, rather than, like I said,
and then
like an old-fashioned.
Probably the Doctor would just do a little bit of sightseeing around there, and then probably tie into the Doctor Who movie, just going to New York one day, and then just get.
Yeah, it's weird that between now and the TV movie, we somehow lose the umbrella along the way, but keep the only reason it's so annoying, because the director of the movie was like, okay, Sylvester McCoy, you're going to be in it for 5 minutes and you're going to be killed off. He's like, can I bring hat and umbrella? And he goes, no. Exactly. Why? It's part of his Doctor. So Sylvester McCoy, despite his better judgment, brings his hat anyway. He didn't have his own umbrella. They would have had to supply him with a prop. But he brought the hat anyway because it's part of his character. And that's the only reason why the hat is in the film, is because he insisted. Everything else looks totally different about
That's
him.
like Matt Smith without a bow tie. That's like Peter Capaldi without angry eyebrows. That's like David Tennant
It's
with
so
non-gelled
annoying
hair.
how they did that with... Why'd they did that? Why'd they do that?
It's like the first Doctor not coming in like this. You can't just do that to the Doctor.
Yeah, I wish that we got more, because I love Sylvester McCoy and would have got a few more seasons of him before he regenerated anyway into a new Doctor if we didn't get the movie and get cancelled. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. What are you giving it out of 10 overall? Actually, no. Frame of reference. What did you give Genesis of the Daleks out of 10?
Genesis of the Daleks, I gave that a 9 in my mind.
Okay, and then what else did you watch? You watched
Unearthly Child.
And then 10th Planet. What did you rank those?
Unearthly Child, I ranked that a little lower. I gave that a 7.
Okay.
Because it's a nice introduction to the show, but it's not quite as hyped.
Right. Okay.
And then 10th Planet, because it's the last episode of the first Doctor, I gave that, I think I gave that an 8.
Oh, that's nice. Brilliant. That's perfect. Perfect scoring. What are you giving this? Survival.
I'm going to give Survival... I'm going to give it a 9.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9. I actually enjoyed it.
Hey! I like that. Yeah, obviously I'm giving it a 9 as well because it's a great episode and I love it. Last note that I can think of. You made a comment while watching this when he was in the shop getting all this cat food. He was like, this is really well written. The fucking metaphor of what was it? It was about survival and about how it was like I've forgotten what he said now, but
it's the line about the lion not needing to outrun the lion.
Yeah, just
outrunning your mate.
Outrun the slower person. Yeah,
it's how kind of selfish yet how clever the tactic of survival is. But then, which way do you prefer? Do you prefer surviving just for your own sake, or
surviving
would you
with your mates as well?
Yeah,
I agree with it. Yeah, that is cool. I think the story is well written, script wise as well. I feel like the first episode is carried by good dialogue. The dialogue does fall off a tiny bit when the guy's on the sofa going. But also have a drinking game. Have a shot every time the episode name drops the title of the story. Survival. The amount of times a character says survival in the 3 episodes.
I'm pretty sure you'll be wasted before the end of the first episode.
Yeah. Like I say, last note, love Sylvester McCoy, love Sophie Aldred. I love the setting, I love the story. The Master's good as always. The creatures are actually used well in this, actually. Usually they're just throwaway monster of the week type thing, but they're actually explained, they fit in the lore of the planet. And
yeah, they have a purpose of their own, as well as just it existing.
And then the black cat's sneaking around the neighborhood as well. I think it's cool. It's a cool story. It does something different. I can't place what. It's just good.
We're just going to watch out for Tiffany now.
Tiffany, yeah, I know. I've got a black cat. I need to watch out, otherwise I'll be sent to the planet of the cheap people. Cheap people? Cheap people. Planet of the cheetah people. Bye, everyone.